Hi, my name is Jonah Im, and today I will be walking through the Comp380H final project crafted by myself and Suhas and Etigunta, which is a website that delves into the controversial issue of internet freedom. In this video, I want to give you, the viewer, a preliminary idea of why we set up the website in this fashion, our learning goals for site visitors, some of the engaging aspects of our site that we think you might really like. So starting off with the homepage, we wanted you to be primed with a few very important questions that'll help guide your learning throughout the site. These questions are located right here, and I'll read them out. How limited is your internet freedom at this moment? At what point do our privacy and First Amendment rights become a danger to ourselves and others on the internet? And to what extent should the government be allowed to regulate internet freedom? And are you okay with this? And as you'll see with most of the other sections, before discussing information, we try to prime the learners with overarching questions on this topic, because our goal for the site is not to convince someone to take one particular stance on this debate, but to give them a depth of resources and objective information that will help them formulate their own well-informed opinions. Going down on the homepage, we then review how the internet has served as both, an incredible resource to many Americans since its inception 30 years ago, but has also grown to be very dangerous in many ways. Some examples that I mentioned here are political figures encouraging hateful behavior, organizations promoting illegal activity, and the dissemination of false information. And with how very current some of these issues are, as well as the dangers that the internet poses to many Americans today, we thought that our topic was extremely important to discuss, and from an unbiased perspective as well. Some of the last clarifying points about our topic, located down here, with how broad and global the issue of internet freedom is, our discussion is restricted solely to the US. And we want to clarify that no information or opinions on the site are our own, but rather translated from a variety of verified sources, like literature reviews and news articles. We also define two important terms that we will use frequently throughout the site, and that is internet freedom and freedom of speech. So be sure to look out how we identify them and how they fit our website goals. So going into the first part of our website starts off with 3 case studies that concern recent events that have addressed the issue of internet freedom. Our goal for these 3 studies is to have the learner thoughtfully consider their own perspectives on this issue before we present them with the arguments from both sides. So getting into the first case study as an example, we discussed the Capitol insurrection and the role that Trump's Twitter account had on it. So we give a brief summary about the events, touch on why this event was really significant in the realm of internet freedom. And if you click on the discussion questions right here, we have the learner think about very important aspects of this issue in regards to their constitutional rights and the applicability of their own opinions. And this has helped to further guide their personal reflection on this topic. And we actually respond to the discussion question submissions to keep the conversation going between ourselves and those we're teaching once this is published. There are 2 more case studies here, one about false information on the internet and another about limited privacy during outstanding circumstances. And both help to prime the user with detailed summaries, related websites like this one, for more information. And we also have meaningful discussion questions for each of these sections. Also, this is again to help them further consider their fundamental personal opinions on the topic before we get into the next section. So this next section is really the meat of the website and is a detailed overview of some of the prevailing arguments for internet regulation and for internet freedoms. And I'll go through some examples in each tab to kind of show how our website is formatted. So like the case studies, we start each new section with a thoughtful question to have the learner start thinking about the topic before presenting them with information. So if we go into internet regulation to begin with, the question we proposed here is the internet an enabler of rights, or should the internet freedom be a right in itself? Following this, we very clearly and comprehensively outline an argument from a renowned figure in computer science, Vincent Cerf, and why he and many other proponents of internet regulations justify their opinion. When we were initially researching this topic, we realized how bogged down we were by different kinds of jargon, This topic is incredibly philosophical too, so we're confused by a lot of the postulates put forward. So we take a lot of pride in the amount of time we spend to ensure that what we wrote is very understandable and won't deter people from learning more because it's a hard topic. Then almost with each of these other arguments, we uh, also link other websites and provide a more in-depth analysis for users who are interested in learning more. And then getting into one of the arguments about internet freedom, we'll use this first example also, which is about protecting the First Amendment right. What we found in a lot of our literature searches is that these arguments tend to take away from the humanistic perspective of the discussion, the fears and anxieties that people really have. So instead of just discussing the logistics and legal aspects of internet regulation, I think we're also very unique in that we quote unquote bring back the bodies and make sure that the reader understands that these are real concerns from real people just like them. I think we do a great job at that, especially in the argument section here, where we discuss the looming fears that a lot of people have and loosening their constitutional rights as American citizens. And that's in this section right here. Lastly, we have a section on the middle ground of this debate, which might be the most important side. And we review realistic answers that could appease both parties as well as their long-term interests. We supplement this section with a wide variety of sources and other internet articles to allow the viewer to delve deeper into reaching a compromise and maybe understanding why a compromise isn't always so easy. At the end of this section, we spent a lot of time to create a really great game to test the reader's understanding on a variety of terms and where certain arguments fall on the side of internet regulation, internet freedom, and the middle ground. Suhas and I had a great time learning about this very interesting topic and creating a tool that other people can use to formulate their own opinions on this issue. If you have any questions or would like clarification, please feel free to reach out to us, and thank you so much for listening.